Welcome back. We're reading the Quran. We're in a new section called Taha. It says in parentheses, mystic letters TH. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Sign 1 says Taha. We have not sent down the Quran to thee to be an occasion for thy distress, but only as an admonition to those who fear Allah. A revelation from Him who created the earth and the heavens on high. Allah, most gracious, is firmly established on the throne of authority. To Him belongs what it is in the heavens and on earth, and all between them, and all between the soil. If thou pronounce the word aloud, it is no matter, for verily He knoweth what is secret and what is yet more hidden. Allah, there is no God but He. To Him belong the most beautiful names. Has the story of Moses reached thee? Behold, he saw a fire. So he said to his family, Tarry ye, I perceive a fire. Perhaps I can bring you some burning brand therefrom, or from some guidance of the fire. The burning bush. But when he came to the fire, a voice was heard. O Moses, verily I am thy Lord. Therefore in my presence put off thy shoes. Thou art in the sacred valley Tuwa. I have chosen thee. Listen, then to the inspiration sent to thee. Verily I am Allah. There is no God but I. So serve thou me only, and establish regular prayer for celebrating my praise. Verily the hour is coming. My design is to keep it hidden, for every soul to receive its reward by measure of its endeavor. Measure of its endeavor. Therefore, let not such as believe not therein, but follow their own lusts, divert thee therefrom, lest thou perish. And what is that in thy right hand, O Moses? He said, It is my rod. On it I lean. With it I beat down fodder for my flocks. In it I find other uses. Allah said, Throw it, O Moses. He threw it, and behold, it was a snake, active in motion. Allah said, Seize it, and fear not. We shall return it at once to its former condition. Now draw thy hand close to thy side. It shall come forth white and shining, without harm or stain, as another sign, in order that we may show thee two of our greater signs. Go thou to Pharaoh, for he has indeed transgressed all bounds. Moses said, O my Lord, expand me my breast, ease my task for me, and remove the impediment from my speech, so they may understand what I say, and give me a minister from my family. Aaron my brother, add to my strength through him, and make him share my task, that we may celebrate thy praise without stint, and remember thee without stint, for thou art he that ever regardeth us. Allah said, Granted is thy prayer, O Moses, and indeed we conferred a favor on thee another time before. I remember that part. That's another similarity between the Quran and the Bible, is that the staff turned into a snake. Behold, we sent to thy mother by inspiration the message. Throw the child into the chest and throw the chest into the river. I think they mean like a basket, right? Wasn't it a basket? Into the river. The river will cast him up on the bank, and he will be taken up by one who is an enemy to thee. I think it means to thee. See, it says, no, we can't see. And an enemy to him. But I cast the garment of love over thee from me, and this in order that thou mayest be reared under thine eye. Behold, thy sister goeth forth and saith, Shall I show you one who will nurse and rear the child? So he brought thee back to thy mother, that her eye might be cooled, and she should not grieve. Then thou didst slay a man. Oh yeah, wait a minute. Okay. Is the difference in this when Moses was taken by the Pharaoh that he saw somebody being whipped, or he accidentally pushed the guy and he fell down and he died? So I think, is that similar? But does it tell us how he killed the guy, who he was, or that doesn't matter. But we saved thee from trouble, and we tried thee in various ways. Then didst thou tarry a number of years with the people of Midian. Then didst thou come hither as ordained, O Moses, and I have prepared thee for myself for service. Go thou and thy brother with my signs, and slacken not, either of you, in keeping me in remembrance. Go both of you to Pharaoh, for he has indeed transgressed all bounds. Do we know, is it going to tell us what Pharaoh did to transgress? Is it because he killed the slaves' children, the boys? Or was it because, the obvious fact is it was polytheism, indeed, right? But was there like crimes against humanity, like not treating the slaves good? Do we learn? Because sometimes I wonder, why didn't God just talk to Pharaoh? Well, he did talk to Pharaoh by sending Moses, but I wonder why didn't he go to Pharaoh, like send a sign directly to Pharaoh? Well, he does by sending Moses, I guess, but I don't know. Like, sometimes I wonder about that. But speak to him mildly, perchance he may take warning or fear Allah. They, Moses and Aaron, said, Our Lord, we fear lest he hasten with insolence against us. Yeah, to go to a Pharaoh, that'd be pretty scary. That's supreme power right there. That'd be terrible. Well, Moses is already, he can't be more afraid than God, right? He's met the Creator, But me, let's say if I didn't meet the Creator, if you had to talk to someone the level of Pharaoh, it'd be pretty hard. Or lest he transgress all bounds. He said, Fear not, for I am with you. I hear and see everything. So go ye both to him, and say, Verily our apostles sent by thy Lord. Send forth therefore the children of Israel with us, and afflict them not. With a sign indeed we have come from thy Lord, and peace to all who follow guidance. Verily it has been revealed to us that the penalty awaits those who reject and turn away. When this message was delivered, Pharaoh said, Who then, O Moses, is the Lord of you two? He said, Our Lord is he who gave to each created things its form and nature, and further gave it guidance. Pharaoh said, What then is the condition of previous generations? Now, in the Quranic tradition, is Ramesses and Moses, they were raised together, so it was extra sad to see them go against each other. So, does the Quranic version bring that up? Do Muslims think about that? Like, or is it, or was it just different? Or is it just like he's talking to anyone? Because for us, it's that Moses, he was raised under Pharaoh. Pharaoh died, and then Moses, his stepbrother, becomes Pharaoh, and then Moses has to go against his brother, which is even more of a challenge. Is that the same thing in here, or is this just a Pharaoh that had nothing to do with Moses' childhood? Can you tell me? He replied, The knowledge of that is with my Lord, duly recorded. My Lord never errs nor forgets. Look at that. Nor forgets. Because in the Bible, after the flood, God says he has to put a rainbow in order to remember the pact he made with humans so that he never floods the earth again. And that is something interesting if you think about it, because God's all-knowing. If he gets angry, he sees a rainbow, he knows, okay, don't kill humans again, lest he forget. But here in the Quran it says that no, he never forgets. He's strict with accounting, so he's not going to forget. So I think that's an interesting difference there. He who has made for you the earth like a carpet spread out, has enabled you to go out therein by roads and channels, and has sent down water from the sky. With it have we produced diverse diverse pairs of plants, each separate from the others. Eat for yourselves and pasture your cattle. Verily in this are signs for men endued with understanding. From the earth did we create you, and into it shall we return you, and from it shall we bring you out once again. That sounds like the "for dust thou art, and for dust thou wilt return." It's very similar. It's basically the same, but just worded different. And we showed Pharaoh all our signs, but he did reject and refuse. He said, Hast thou come to drive us out of our land with thy magic, O Moses? But we can surely produce magic to match thine. Oh yeah, okay, that's cool. It has the same part right there. The battling of the priests of Pharaoh with that of Moses. That's cool. So make a tryst between us and thee, which we shall not fail to keep, neither we nor thou, in a place where both shall have even chances. Moses said, You triest is the day of the festival, and let people be assembled when the sun is well up. So Pharaoh withdrew. He concerted his plan, and then he came back. Moses said to him, Woe to you! Forget not ye lie against Allah, lest he destroy you at once utterly by chastisement. The forger must suffer frustration. So they disputed, one with another, over the affair, but they kept their talk secret. They said, These two are certainly expert magicians. Their object is to drive you out from your land with their magic, and to do away with your most cherished institutions. Therefore, concert your plan, and then assembled in serried ranks, he wins all along today who gains the upper hand. Sometimes you can be a little empathetic to Pharaoh. I mean, reading that, it does sound practical, like something we all could say on the first account, but once you see the signs, you're like, okay, I see the signs. All right, let's change society. But even today, our politicians can see clear decay of bad policies that are immoral and not really functioning well, and they don't change it. They can see the proof and they still don't change it. So the stubbornness of governments is something that through Pharaoh we can see through time. And even though some governments claim to be a part of different religions, they still make mistakes. So I find this very interesting, this whole cherished institutions. Well, clearly the institutions are no longer functioning, and those institutions are what caused Pharaoh to transgress, which caused God to go down there and be like, to send Moses and be like, hey, it's not working what you're doing. It's time to change everything. It's a revolutionary change. Moses and Aaron, they're revolutionaries. They're bringing in a whole new system. And they're going to battle, in a sense, through magic. Well, Moses has miracles. The pharaohs have smoke and mirrors, right? But they're still clashing. And the smoke and mirrors of the past, that would be like the pageantry of today in Parliament or in Congress, right? Or in the King's Council. Well, technically the Queen's Council, right? But I think this is something that is really relevant to all generations, right? It's like, okay, Pharaoh's got his magicians who are like, our institutions will bring what you're gonna do, and then Moses is like, well, we're gonna bring what we're gonna do. It's almost like you got an ambassador for God going to and talking to the power that is a supreme power, and being like, hey, we gotta change. This isn't working. The way you're treating people, what you're doing is not working. It's really bold and brave. And you gotta wonder, if a Moses came today, it would face the same type of problems, but except he'd be facing an entire Congress instead of just one leader, right? Because the leaders of countries, they don't have too much power. they have a lot of gridlock, through Parliament or through Congress. I don't know. I like really comparing today, like, because a lot of people will say this isn't relevant. Well, actually, it is if you kind of substitute in people. What do you think, family? What do you think about the whole scene right here that's laying out right now? I find it very intriguing. I like thinking that, imagining someone going into like this imperial power with alabaster stone, and like seeing the slaves working and the sand and the extravagance of Pharaoh, the firmness of Pharaoh, and telling him, even though you're emboldened with the Spirit of God, you have to still go up to that person and be like, so, I need to talk to you. You know what I mean? Come on. Some of us even have hard times telling our bosses we want a day off, right? Come on. So a lot of people pretend like, oh, I wouldn't be afraid if God told me to do it. Even though, like, even if you know you're right about something, you still have to be diplomatic and be cautious in the way you do it. Yes, Moses knows he has protection of God, but he still, like even God said, speak mildly to him, right? So it's like he's still got to be a little bit of the, persuasive, to be like, come on, we can do this the good way, or a plague gonna come. I don't know if the Quran is gonna talk about the plagues that were sent, frogs and brimstone and stuff like that, but it's still very fascinating to think about. What do you think?